Hi. I was just asking what kind of adoption rate are you
Hello.
looking for this financial year?
What kind
Adoption rate
adoption rate?
for the service.
So, if you look at the digital part of it, right, what has happened in the last couple of years, especially after COVID, is that the traditional debt collection process have moved to more a digital savvy process where the customer is reminded over a digital channel. So, whichever channel he is most comfortable with, actually the platform with its AI capabilities understands the behavior and contacts the customer on that particular channel. So if a WhatsApp or a SMS or a email, whichever channel is most comfortable for the consumer, a reminder goes to him at the right point of time. And on the due date, there are two things. Either you have a ECS or an H set up, so it will get auto paid. If you have not set that up, we send a link along with the reminder. So you can just click and pay. Now, the reason I gave you the background is with the advent of UPI, at least the small ticket loans, right, where the EMI is less than 50,000. Let us look at how many people in India would have EMIs more than 50,000. Now, you would have bulk of the people, this I think minus in this room, maybe we may have, but bulk of the people will have EMIs less than 50,000, which is the 80 or 90% of the loans that are there. I'm talking retail, corporate is complex, NCLT and all that. Okay, that happens through the legal process. It doesn't happen with reminders. On the retail side of these loans, be it personal loans, consumer loans, credit cards, home loans, any of these loans that are there, a link comes, you can click on the link and use your preferred UPI app to pay. Now, if you go back in the earlier days, what used to happen is you don't know where to pay. If you have bounced your EMI, it's a separate loan account, number one. It's not your savings account or your current account. It's a separate loan account which you need to pay. Earlier days, you did not know you have to go register an NEFT, go to the bank or pay, you have to figure out how you are going to pay. That was the biggest challenge that was there. This challenge is now circumvent where digitally through a link you can click and you can make the payment. The necessary tying up of the technology and the end-to-end infrastructure where what you are paying goes to your loan account obviously is done hand in hand with a payment gateway, a bank and us. Okay, so finally as a customer you get a communication from an ex-bank. It is not our communication, it is the bank's communication which goes through our platform. We do the communication on the bank's behalf and you get a link, you click and you pay. So we've seen, now I don't have very strong numbers, but at least 25% of the people pay by this method, which is if you have missed your EMI, which means you have bounced your EMI and you want to pay, 25% of the people pay in the first 15 days through this method, if I have to give you a rough number on that.
What will be your tie-up process with the banks and these non-banking financial companies?
So banks, non-banking financial companies, cooperative banks, rural RRBs, any fintech, any telecom company, even an insurance company, by that particular utility company is our target customer. So we go and pitch this platform to these guys so that they can improve their collection process. So two things. One is obviously we help them reduce their cost. The platform is designed with customer centricity in the mind, which means as a consumer or a customer, he is the key in the entire platform, and we help improve the collection rates for the prospective client.
What is the financial arrangements? How it is planned?
So the pricing model is simply based on how many number of loan accounts come to our platform. So if they give us, so each bank would have its own, larger banks would have their own strategy. They would do the risk profiling on their own. A middle or a smaller bank or a NBFC would rely on us to do that risk profiling. Obviously, the larger banks with the kind of experience and data that they have, they would do the risk profiling themselves. The number of loans that come on our account account. Okay, we price it per loan account. It's a completely SaaS-based offering, which is it's a software as a service. In fact, it is a collection as a service offering. We also have innovative models where we charge on recovery. So if our platform helps you recover an X amount, we take a percentage of that. It varies from customer to customer.
How fast to credit to bank's account?
In certain cases, so as a consumer, your confirmation is instant. The credit is the same day or T+1, basically. So it is either by evening. So if you pay in the morning, it is in the evening. Later in the day, it is on the next morning. See, when you are paying, the confirmation is instant, but the actual credit hitting the bank is also confirming you, saying that you have paid. Everything is fully integrated. But the real credit into your loan account happens once the payment gateway puts the money in the loan account, which typically in today's world, it is possible to do it the same day. Okay, there are very advanced payment gateways which give you the money credit in the same day, and then it is T+1. Everything costs, so it bank chooses whether it happens the same day or the next day. But you as a consumer are completely taken care of. You are being intimated and confirmed with a transaction ID and your payment being made instantly.
If it is paid next day, what about the one-day interest to the customer?
The customer is not charged at one day interest. The customer, as soon as he makes the payment, that is considered at his payment date. The credit may happen a day later.
Hi, here.
Yeah, please.
So, do you guys have any targets for the first year or any expected amount you all will collect in the first year of inception?
So this is actually just a correction there. We are not in our first year of doing this. This product has been with us for the last 6 years. Okay, my hands and mouth are tied because we work with very large banks which are listed, public sector banks. So I cannot quote specific numbers or how many crores we collect, but the numbers is in thousands of crores. Okay, which get collected on our platform across the digital field as well as the settlement process.
I think what Rosebud was trying to say is in the first year of the launch of Phygital.
Oh, you're talking about this. Okay. So I can give you probably a number on the number of loan accounts. You can probably multiply it by an average EMI of 10,000. So we are looking at around in the next 1 year having 25 lakh accounts run through our site, which is 2.5 million accounts on our platform. Okay. We are almost nearly 10 lakh on our platform already. So by the end of this year, we expect it to be around 25 lakh loan accounts on our platform. And you can multiply by 10,000 to get an average value over there, basically.
Right. So the moment you speak digital, I think cybersecurity comes in picture.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have any allocated budget for cybersecurity or tech budget?
Yes.
Tech budget to hoga hi, but like cybersecurity ke liye?
Yeah, definitely. See, security is a very layered process. So right from the development to how you're deploying it, how you're storing data, how it is getting visible. So there are various layers across which you have to manage the security. So definitely, our maximum, the thought process or the maximum leverage that we are doing is from a security perspective, where you are using technology to ensure that the transactions or the data which is getting moved between the customer or between the banks is secured. The data which is stored, it is encrypted. The data which is PII data, which we call, is kind of masked. And how we are kind of hosting this. So we have very good in terms of the hosting platforms. We are hosted with entity. So we have there is also a layered kind of process as to there is a WAF, a firewall, load balancer. So all these things help in the security.
Percentage of the budget for specifically cybersecurity.
So, see, there are 3 parts. If you look at security, it is as Yatin was trying to explain. Security, from how you look at it, is only one way, that it is secure and I am clicking on a secure link. But to make that happen, it's a multi-layer process, right? Where when the bank is using it, who is getting access to whose data? That is one type of security. When the data is moving between systems, so we also handle a lot of bank data or a telecom data and all that. There is a layer of security over there. And finally, as a consumer, when you are trying to pay, there is a layer of security. So there are two kinds of investments that we do. One is in the product R&D that goes. So nearly 20%, if I have to give you a number, goes just for security and compliance. Okay. And again, there are very tight RBI norms because we are in the collection industry in terms of how this platform moves. So there are security audits by third parties that happen on our software. So there is additional expenditure that happens over there. But roughly you could say out of our total budget, 20% is allocated towards security and advancement in security, I would say. Security is a moving, like technology is a moving wheel, right? I can't say that I'm 100% secure even today because by the time we secure something, something else has moved. So it's an ongoing process over there. And we have chosen partners wisely. So entity, the erstwhile NetMagic, which is entity, Japanese conglomerate, we have the tie-up with them globally on a global scale to ensure that our customer gets the best of the infrastructure and security over there.
We have a question here.
Mr. Agarwal, hi, my name is Ankit. There is one very, very importantly which I have to say that, I do believe that collection is a very tough process in India, but very importantly,
it's a very inhuman process, I would put it right now.
Yeah, but very importantly, like there was many case studies while in the collection process about the language and about the ethics which is missing, and also like is there any plan on that? Because whenever any person, because there is a target which is call center, they have to do the collection and everything. So to achieve that target, there are many case studies are there to that they are harassing the customers and everything. So is there anything to follow the basic ethics to the people, and also with the harassment, the case studies also that they did suicide and as well. Correct. So is there anything that your company is going to do now?
Correct. So I think it's a very valid point you brought on this. We would most of the company would avoid this question. Okay, we would dive into that question and give you we'll try to give you a convincing answer. You get convinced is secondary that I can do. Number one, when it comes to a collection agent talking to a customer, okay, let me throw some light. There are RBI norms around this. Okay, which starts from as basic as when we are supposed to reach the customer, 9 to 5 or I think 9 to 7, correct, my apologies, I may not have given the right time, but there is a fixed timeline in which you are supposed to reach out to the customer. There are etiquettes around the language. Definitely you cannot use certain language and you cannot get hyper. You are just following up with the customer and you are not supposed to intimidate the customer. Now having said that, language is complex, so none of us can kind of make out whether he intimated or he followed up based on how it does. Now this is a topic which banks and NBFCs struggle with. I think a year earlier there was a repossession case that happened where somebody ran over a tractor and person died and things like that. So brands lose for that one case. It's an outsourced agency which does it, but finally the bank or the NBFC has to take ownership of whatever happens. This is the exact challenge we attack. Okay, with our platform we would ensure that one, obviously we cannot stop a guy from doing something. We don't have any technology to do that right now. He would behave the way he has to behave, and if he has to misbehave, he will misbehave. What we bring in is the compliance and the review of all this. So for example, we have a technology where all collection agent calls that go to the customer, number one, the numbers are masked. Neither the collector has the number of the customer nor the customer gets the collector number. Okay, so one, he cannot harass him even if he gets the number. There is data privacy that is already built in. Every conversation that happens is recorded on a central server. These recordings are taken from there, and we have technology which at this moment segregates them on certain keywords. So if you have used a cuss word, you have used a word which is not correct, we flag these and the bank does an audit of these and takes necessary action. We are reaching a point, as Yatin was explaining earlier, that this is where we are calling it Phygital. So we will be building capabilities where we will do sentiment analysis. So when a guy is talking to the customer, on both the sides we will do a sentiment, because it is not necessary the collection agent went on the wrong side. It is the customer also who can go on the wrong side of the conversation. So that is where we will do sentiment analysis on the field. It's impossible manually to keep a track कि उसने किसको क्या बोला. It is not possible. So there has to be technology which has to come to the rescue of this. So we are building that technology. Second, when it comes to recovery, where you are repossessing an asset, you are doing a settlement or you are doing legal, everything goes through the software. Okay, obviously the bank needs to buy our software and use the software where the compliance, who is accessing what information. As a customer, if you ask ki boss, show me the notice, all the details are available securely within the app to the collection agent, and to an extent we ease it. Our intent is somewhere, if the entire communication is digital and there is no human involved, to be honest, that stage is far away. It will not happen very soon. It's just a vision that we have, because in a lot of developed countries there is no collection agent that goes out. It's either digital or there is a legal notice. There are only two ways. कोई knock नहीं करता है. It happens in developed countries like ours right now. We plan to bring in digital exactly for this, that the consumer who has defaulted is contacted at the right time through the right channel, and he pays at the time that is convenient to them, and he is not intimidated because there is technology which is doing it, so it will deal with everybody in the same manner. So there is uniformity in the communication that happens to the customer. I hope I have tried to address your question.
Do we have? Yes. All right. Here.
Hi Siddharth, my name is Mukbil. I'm from ET. Let me give you some context to the question that I'm going to ask. So I was, talking to the president of Kotak Mahindra a few days back. An article also came out on that. So they have an in-house, risk profiling mechanism where they're leveraging a lot of AI. So I want to understand from you, how is it different from the engines that these big players are using, and what is the accuracy rate? Secondly, my second question is on data protection and privacy, the law which has come. I mean, do you see where does this culpability lead you to? Because some of the aspects are pretty stringent, and you are dealing with a lot of very sensitive data, as he said also.
Correct.
There's some kind of masking which is happening, but what happens when that goes wrong?
Correct.
That is the question.
Just to tell you, I think the customer that you're referring, and this without quoting much, is exactly the customer we deal with. Okay, and so what happens is you need to understand that when it is a large bank, which is the top 5 banks, okay, please don't quote any names, but whether it is an ICICI, HDFC, Axis, these guys have been in the market for a long time. They have humongous amount of data, humongous amount of experience in terms of risk profiling. Okay, we are a comparatively fairly new platform, so obviously we don't have that kind of data, and we are not allowed to keep that kind of data with us. Okay, we for these kind of banks, they do risk profiling at a decent level. To be honest, they do their own risk profiling, and they are predicting. I think the case that you're referring, they predicted almost 80-85% level. We managed to work exactly on the same case and give 95% accuracy over there. Now there is definitely science involved. Okay, there is no rocket science involved in that. We do it from a collection scoring perspective, right? And understand that our demographic data, our models are now being trained across multiple banks or multiple NBFCs. There is a cross-sectioning across multiple domains as well. So we are not using any data from one customer to another. We are not allowed to. But our models are getting trained where if a profile like yours comes in, we would have dealt with a similar profile in another bank or another telecom operator or another utilities company. Our risk algorithm will give a better result compared to a individual bank's risk algorithm. No ways I can challenge any of these banks' risk algorithms. But to them also, there is a huge benefit that once, in these cases, we allow them to import their risk profiling and we build strategy on that risk profiling. So it's always a collaborative way of working. Obviously, when you work with leaders, you learn from them. So we will learn from them and then we'll give it to the rest of the industry as well. So that's how we have developed. Now coming to your second point, which is around the data bill and the privacy and all that. We have done all that is possible to secure, mask the data. In fact, one of our products, NetraScan, does masking on this. That's not the agenda today, but yeah, probably for a separate discussion. We have all the technology checks and balancing in place to do it. But you have covered a lot, so it is never I can put my finger and say, we are 100% secure. It is a moving landscape. But having said that, there are, I think, Yatin will give there are some guidelines that are there which we follow to ensure that one, data access is given to people who need to have the access. PI information, which is personal information, is always masked throughout the software. Okay, nobody gets personal information, even to an extent that if a collection agent has to dial the customer, we don't show him the number. He has to just click the button. We have the numbers in the software. We dial, we connect the calls. Nobody sees each other's number. There is a switch number that gets displayed. So we have taken it to that level, okay, where the privacy is taken care of. The data bill, to be honest with you, I'll be foolish to say that we take care of all these. The risk will increase, but then that's going to be for the industry, not for us. We'll live by it. Obviously, if we are handling customer data, but we've been doing this for the last 15 years now. Whether it is telecom, whether it is banking, whether it is hospitality, travel, retail, we have dealt with a lot of data. So processes are well taken care of. But with the data bill, it's a building story, right? Once it gets approved, how we are going to change, what are the liabilities, maybe our costs will go up, our insurances will go up. So that's a moving piece right now. I cannot put my finger and say, no, we have cracked it. Answer is no at this point of time on the data bill implications.
So from a risk profiling perspective, what we need to be cognizant about is we do not need the PI data, because we cannot do anything. If I have your phone number, there is no intelligence that gets added to it. So in fact, your name also does not add any intelligence. So we have to be cognizant about that. So when I'm doing a risk profiling, I really do not need the address or the phone number or the email address. I just need the account number and the financial history of that particular individual. Obviously, as we said, all this data is encrypted into the system, and also it is encoded. So once you encode it, it is not the exact data which is visible. It is encoded into, from a machine learning perspective, what we do is we have to encode this data into what the machine understands, because machine will not understand, a 60,000 value or a 70,000 value. So we have to encode it.
The question was not on PII related to that. There were two separate questions.
Yeah. So his question was on the privacy part of it, yeah. But correct. We hope we were able to give you a satisfactory answer. Yeah. Yeah, please.
Do we have any more questions?
Good afternoon, sir. Congratulations for being the first.
Can we give a mic, please?
Preeti.
Good afternoon, sir. Congratulations for being the first Phygital collection. So what I wanted to know, do you have a monopoly? Have you captured the whole market? And if it is yes, then what is your future project for that?
So we said industry is first. So we are the first to launch it.
Yeah.
We do not have a monopoly. We don't aim to do a monopoly, to be honest. It's always good to have competition in the market. As he just rightly said, there are learnings. They will make some mistakes. We will learn from them. We are the first to launch a Phygital collection.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
Which is combining physical, AI and digital. So since you have brought that point, I don't know, I was not able to stress correctly. When we say physical, we have our own call center capabilities. So now when I am sending a digital communication, let's say you tried to click on a link and you couldn't pay because of some failure in technology. We'll have a call center reaching out to you, guiding you through the whole thing so that you can make the payment. So that is physical plus digital, number one. Second is I will use AI. So if you are best at paying at at lunchtime, and I have observed that in the last 3 payments you have always paid at lunchtime, I will send you a message exactly at 1 p.m. Assuming you take lunch at between 1 to 2, I will send you a message exactly at 1 p.m. So our launch is more of a combination of physical capabilities, AI capabilities, and digital capabilities in a single platform to our customers.
So it's going to be like more into the technology. You will be improving the technology more.
It will be tech services, physical services backed by technology. Right? So, for example, a call center, it won't be a call center, first a voice bot will call. And if the voice bot cannot handle, then there will be a physical human person who will take over the call. So, that is combining physical and digital capabilities in a single. See, currently how it happens, okay, let me answer it this way. Today what happens is a bank would either they would take a platform where they will digitally, they are already doing some, it is not that digital is happening for the first time, right? That's not the pitch over here. They are already digitally reaching out to you, either sending you a reminder, maybe the AI and the science is missing, but there is a digital reminder which anyways comes. If you have a credit card, 5 दिन पहले एक message आता है, your credit card is due. That is also a digital reminder. The only thing missing is a link to pay. That's what we have added now. Now, what is actually missing over there is that today what they do is they remind you digitally, they wait for your date of payment. If you do not pay, they wait for another 5-10 days based on you are a very good profile customer, so they will not bother you for 10 days. They will wait, आप 10 दिन तक पैसा भरते हो कि नहीं भरते हो. If you don't pay after 10 days, they will give your data to a call center. Data means obviously they outsource it, there are again proper mechanisms to do that. The call center will call you, madam आपका bill बाकी है, आपने pay नहीं किया, and then you will say, oh I missed, I will pay. Okay, then the call center will probably help you pay. Now, what have we done? One is you have partly screwed up your credit score. You actually missed to do it and you did not know how to pay. So when the call center call landed is when you came to know how you are supposed to pay and whatever details have to be answered. Number 2, the bank has already lost 10 days in getting your payment. Every penny at every minute count says, you know, I think somebody asked 1 day interest, so this is 10 days now already, right? So the whole intent is, if I can pre-due, I know you generally forget. My apologies, I didn't want to say that. You generally forget every time in the last 12 months, 6 times you have forgotten and then you have paid on the 3rd day. Your history tells me that. I will start reminding you 3 days before your due date, saying कि मैडम पे कर दो वरना आप भूल जाओगे, आपका क्रेडिट स्कोर खराब हो जाएगा. We will remind you that way in a custom template, in a custom language, in a multilingual fashion across channels. So that is what is about this. And if you still forget, तो we know कि no you don't pay, तो आपको एक दिन पहले फिजिकल कॉल आएगा, मैडम कल ड्यू डेट है भर देना. Basically, आपको मैंने मैसेज भेजा, ये भेजा नहीं हुआ, भर देना. This is what we are launching in a very small way, if I have to put it forward.
Do we have any more questions, or we can conclude the session here? We can, of course, have conversation with Siddharth and Yatin over tea. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.